Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone of the USA. It's time for the DX Engineering Manufacturer Showcase. And this is a show where we talk about various manufacturers, and DX Engineering represents over 160 different manufacturers. And we're going to talk about products. And today, we have our good friend Lee, K7TJR from High Z Antennas. Hello, Lee.
Good day, good morning there. Well, it's still morning here in Oregon anyway. It's morning, everyone.
Well, it's great to have you back on, Lee. And let's talk about what you got, what's new, and what's going on.
Okay, well, what I didn't really cover in any detail the last time we talked about what all the things are that we do in terms of receiving arrays, the different variations. And I thought I'd cover that a little bit today and explain a little bit what might be the advantage between one or the other. So
yeah, that would be great because, Lee, you've got 3 verticals, 4 verticals, or 8 verticals. So 3, 4, and 8. And so lots of different configurations. And so let's, you can go ahead and share your screen and get into the meat of this thing. Let's learn about High Z here.
Here we go. Share screen. Share. Well, I clicked share. I have to click that first. Share screen and go down here. And I'll go to this page right here. You got that, Tim? Can you see that?
Yeah, go ahead and start the slideshow so we get it full size.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did that before. Short memory here from the beginning. There it is. Now let me drop down here a few pages. Here we go. This is an older presentation, so I'm skipping around in it. But anyway, we used to manufacture the 2 vertical elements receiving array, and there's a few of them, but not many around the world. And I have redesigned to the right of that 2 element one, the 3 element vertical array, and it now can be, that controller can be used to do just 2 elements if you wanted to mess with that. I have not had time to write an application note about how to do that, but it's certainly possible. We make the 2 vertical elements, the 3 vertical elements. We make the 4, which is a really nice antenna, very much better pattern than any of the other ones we talked about. We also do 8 vertical elements, and we have 2 antennas that do that. We have the all new 8 Pro, all in one box, and it's working well out in the field. And we also do the older 8 element high performance array single band. So here's a couple of comparisons of different antennas. And the reason I'm showing this is all these loops and so forth have these different patterns that basically cardioid shaped. And I want to show you here momentarily a way of looking at it in a much better way that gives you more information all in one. So let me scroll down to that, slide number 12. That's it. I think that's 12. Can't tell from here, but anyway, yeah, that's 12. This is a program called 4NEC2, and in that program, you can actually look in 3-dimensional the patterns of these antenna elements. And shortly here, I'm going to show you why that may be important to you. The gain is maximum off the front, which is indicated over on the left here at 8.6 dBi, and the minimum down here at minus 36 or whatever in the blue areas. So it is very, very easily shows the true patterns of these antennas, and that also in this particular program, it gives you the RDF value for whatever you, pardon me, whatever you have put into the system. And it's very handy that way with the EasyNet programs, which, by the way, are going to be free soon because Roy is retiring. And this one is also free, the 4.2 But anyway, it's easy to calculate that here. It's also easy to calculate it in EasyNet, but you have to do it yourself, and here you don't. So let me go down here a little ways. All right, here's why it's important to look at this pattern. On the left, you see the pattern of an SAL antenna, SAL, or I think that's what they call it. It's a two loops side by side, right close together. And if you look at the pattern of this antenna and where the arrows are, you can see a great deal of response in reverse high angle direction, and quite a bit in the high angle direction on the front. You compare that to the other antenna here. Well, I wonder where the arrows went. That's interesting. Anyway, if you look at this pattern behind the z-axis there, the high angle is just gone. That you don't hear local stuff giving you problems off the back of it. And also directly off the top of it, the pattern is very narrow, keeps it keeps the RDF value up, and gives you a great deal better receiving. Let's see. This also shows that the RDF value that you actually get may not be what you really get in terms of antenna performance. The pattern in the off areas really controls what you hear. So let me advance to number 16, where it shows this a little more in detail. That's an SAL off to the left there with the revert, all that area in the back. This is a K9AY loop, which pretty much eliminates that, and not so great on the gain in the front. And here's a 4 vertical pattern showing how the areas above it and behind it are pretty much minimized. And if you look at this yellow, that's quite a number of dB down from what it is in the forward direction. So these little rear little perturbances do not cause a great deal of difficulty in receiving. So let me go to number 16. That's not where I want to go. Where do we want to go? There we go. Here's some other stuff here, the basics. If you look at a top-loaded vertical in terms of what would be RDF, you would see that you have almost a little over 5 dB, because it does not pick up signal off the top of it and only on the sides. So the calculation for RDF reveals that you have 5.1 dB. Off to the right of that is the 600-foot beverage antenna at about 11 dB. Down at the lower left there is the K9AY loop at about 7.7 dB. And a pennant antenna. All these loops are pretty much the same, 7.7, at least in the models that I used. And the next page here shows the shared apex loop, a beverage antenna, which interestingly enough has a bunch of high angle little lobes in there behind it. And a vertical antenna essentially eliminates those high lobes. So what you might hear on these beverages and loops and so forth are local signals quite well, and they might outperform one of these high performance antennas because they do have those loops. They'll pick up signals you might not hear on the 8-element antenna. So let's see what we got here. And here lists the different RDF values for the antennas that we make here. The 2-element was a cardioid pattern with about 9 dB. The 3-element is the same. And so we can actually do 2 elements in the 3 now and make it the same. The 4-element and what is now the 8 Pro is up around 12 dB of RDF with this really nice pattern. This is a 1,200-foot beverage. This is a theoretical pattern. Sometimes the loss in signal along long beverages does not allow them to do this well, but the model certainly shows it. And this is a 350-foot diameter broadside in-fire array, similar to what W5ZN and W3LPL talk about. And if you look at this pattern in terms of that, look at this back lobe here, which is behind the z-axis, and actually does not reduce the RDF, pardon me, really very much. Excuse me, there we go. All right, I've seen 13 dB quoted about this 350-foot diameter antenna, and I think that's actually true. And this is our best single band antenna over here at 13.5. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this now, and we can get on about questions and see who's on and go from there.
All right, that sounds great, Lee. Let's go to it. We have our good friend Sandy, DL1QQ, is on. And Craig, K1QX, says, I love my High Z Foursquare. And let's see if we have any other comments or questions for High Z. For Lee, put them in the chat. And we've got DK5ONV is on. And Bob, the Traveler, said he uses EasyNet to figure out his NVIS. And okay, so we do have stations on from all over the world, and but we're looking for some questions or comments about High Z today, because we're talking about receive antennas, high performance receive antennas. And of course, Lee, I've been using the High Z arrays here at K3LR for many, many years. And just recently, you actually went and redid and updated the Foursquare box and the 8-circle box. The performance has never been better on these arrays here at K3LR. And I'm using 23-foot verticals with 2 4-foot ground rods. And the performance is just outstanding.
Yes, Tim, it's been quite an experience to watch this unfold. And when I went to the surface mount parts and all the designs, the performance went way up. I can get 1% parts on a lot of them, and parts that are much, much more subminiature, and the performance in terms of common mode and inductance values that are wider than that in frequency than ever before, has really improved that performance. And I'm able to make the combination of the signals much more accurate than ever before. So
I don't have them side by side to test the old and the new. All I can tell you is how, I think we're hearing against other really good stations that are, hearing signals on 160 meters and even on 80 meters. And, I feel like I'm not taking a back seat to anybody, even though we're not on the East Coast here. And I will have the CW skimmer working here in the next day or so. We've got to put the splitters in to get the skimmers working. And that provides a level of comparison on the reverse beacon network. And we might have somebody come on one of our social media shows and talk about the reverse beacon network, because I think that is an important tool, for checking. But I can tell you, Lee, I really like the way the new boxes that you have at High Z, the cold flow problem with the connectors is all gone now, because of the way you're mounting the F connectors is really, really good.
Yes, I fought that problem a long time as well as you did, Tim, and finally came up with a solution that works really well. And at present, I'm reevaluating the 8A product, which is the single band high performance array. I'm evaluating that right now, looking to see if I can make it any better when I do get it redone and all checked out. So that's on the future there with that too.
Yeah, and I know you've got a lot of things in the works, and I do have an update for you offline on some of that as well. KE5OOL asks, when will the IC7610 be back in stock? I'm hoping that it's back in stock next week. That's what our expectation is, Scott. But the supply chain is not only broken for everything else, but it's broken in ham radio too. And I know, Lee, you're having trouble getting parts.
Yes, I am purchasing parts around the world for what I build. It's amazing. And some of the stuff that I've ordered is out until the middle of next year before they can deliver it. I'm able to keep up fairly well so far, but I see it being a real problem. It's
Yeah,
not.
and the High Z product. I know I was part of an install that occurred over in Thailand of High Z in Thailand. Your products are in all places in the world. I mean, in Europe, over in Asia, and the level of support that you give is tremendous too. Because, you know, uh, you get into an 8 circle, it's a pretty complex system.
It is. It's very complex, and everything has to be operating in that really high performance one, the single band one. Everything has to work in that thing, or it doesn't work at all. It's
Right.
and I've developed some techniques for testing them. I haven't documented it well, but I do answer all the emails that come in and people looking for help and finding out what's wrong. All manners of things can go wrong, including grass and other things growing up around the elements and shorting them out, and you know, numerous environmental things.
Right. So let's go to the DX Engineering website and let me know when you see it um, there, Lee.
There it is, Tim.
Okay. So if we if we go in and we type in high dash Z and we click on high Z antennas, and it takes us right here, and we are listing 38 different products for high Z. And so these are the buffer amplifiers that you need at the base of each vertical. Here is one of the vertical element kits.
Yeah, if I might interrupt you for just a second, Tim, the bass amplifiers is the new design. I've actually temperature tested those things from plus 150 degrees F down to minus 25, 30, whatever it was. And the gain and phasing in that thing stays well within 1% over that range. So in terms of new performance, it will outplay the older amplifiers.
So, and that is a very good point, Lee. Sameness matters. You want every one of these verticals in the array to be the same.
Yes,
You
sir.
know that is so critical. And here is the 3 element controller that has been updated and redesigned with the new high accuracy components. This looks beautiful, Lee.
Yes, and it performs really well. One of the problems I had in the past was having the arrays not quite work the same in every direction. And in the new designs and the new parts, I've been able to really tame that down and get it much, much more accurate in every direction. And that 3 element, by the way, is very low price on that combiner compared to what was in the past.
Yes, $199. What a great value. And even if you're thinking about the 3 element array, you can go here to the DX Engineering website, bring it up, and click on documentation. And here's all the instructions. So you know what you're getting into. Lee writes great manuals, and you can see, look at this pattern. This is phenomenal. And for your receive system, it is just, and it goes from 160 through 40 meters. It's also useful at 30 meters, but he walks you through all of the configurations and what you're going to hear once you put this thing on the air. Here's all the polar plots, and so this is really well done, Lee, and congratulations on the new controllers. That's just great.
Well, thank you, Tim. I didn't write all the manuals for the original product, and when I did it myself, I tried to do it in terms of what the ham would really want or need in terms of the manual, and included much, much more documentation.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Lee, thanks so much for coming on with us today. This has been a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people will watch this afterwards on YouTube. So I thank you again for great products. We took all the beverages down here at K3LR. It's all high Z.
Yeah, it's yeah, and there's a little more to come.
All right. Well,
All
stay
right,
tuned.
Tim. All right. All
Thanks,
right.
Lee.
All right.
And 73 to all the viewers. And we'll see you tomorrow for the weekend special. Until then, 73 from DX Engineering.